Okay, in this video we are going to talk about adding and subtracting integers. Just a recap from yesterday, let's remind ourselves that integers, that's a special type of number. Remember, we have rational numbers, integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. Integers were either they were whole numbers, so something like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, as long as it's a whole number, right? And their opposites. So 0 doesn't have an opposite, but the opposite of 1 is -1. So like -1, -2, -3, right, and so on. So the set of integers is -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay. Integers can be added and subtracted using an algorithm, what we call an algorithm. An algorithm is just a set of rules. Okay. If the two values, when we're adding integers, have the same sign, so they're both positive or they're both negative, then we're going to add them just like normal, and we're going to keep the same sign. So if both of my numbers were negative, negative plus negative, the final, the sum is also negative. If both of my numbers in the addend were positive, positive plus positive, then the sum is also positive. If the signs are different though, then we're going to subtract and take the sign of the number that has the greatest absolute value. So if positive and negatives weren't there, then which number is the largest? So which number is farthest from 0? This is really great if you have a good memory, and that's fine. Another way I like to think about it is if you have the same sign, we're combining, and you guys already know that combining means to add. However, if they're different signs, then we're going to find the difference, which means to subtract. The way I know which sign to keep is on a number line, all of your negatives are on the left side and your positives are on the right side, and then there's 0 in the middle, right? So this example says 6 plus -5 is 1. Why is our answer positive? 6 goes to the right because it's on the positive side of the number line, and 5 goes to the left because it's on the negative side of the number line. 6 is bigger than 5, so if I had 6 people pushing a box this way and 5 people pushing a box this way, I think that the 6 people have more people to win, right? So then there's 1 going this way, which is positive. Likewise, in the other example, it's -6 plus 5, and that sum is -1. -6 is to the left, +5 is to the right. There's less going right than there is going left, so the left wins, and going left on the number line is negative. So -6 plus 5 is -1. This is a review from 6th grade, so hopefully that jogged our memories pretty decently. There's some practice things to do down here. Chances are I probably do one of these in class, and then in your families you guys work on the other ones. We're going to practice adding integers using the algorithm. So we're going to find each sum here, and then we're going to add all of those different numbers, and we should get 13. That's how we'll know if we're right. Okay, so the first one says -9 plus 6. -9, negative goes left, plus this is a normal 6, so that's going to the right. Those are going different directions, so I find the difference of 9 and 6. So 9 minus 6 is really 3. I had more going to the left than I did to the right, so the left should win, which means this sum is negative 3. Negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3. I've got 4 plus 7. 4 is positive, it goes to the right, plus this is a normal 7, so it's positive. It also goes to the right on our number line. 4 plus 7, since those are the same signs, I'm just going to add them, combine like normal, and we know that 4 and 7 make 11. Because I'm combining them, I know that my answer is going to have the same sign. If I have 4 people pushing on the box to the right and 7 more people pushing the box to the right, of course the box is going to go to the right. Now we've got negative 7 plus 12. Negative 7 is negative, so we're going left. Plus normal 12 goes right on a number line. So these arrows are facing different directions, which means I'm finding the difference. So I'm really thinking about 12 minus 7. 12 minus 7 is 5. And there's 12 people making the box go right and only 7 people making the box go left. So the box should go to the right at the end, which means this is just a normal positive 5. I've got negative 9 plus 9. Negative 9 goes left. Positive 9 goes right. So I'm really thinking about 9 minus 9, which is 0. 0 doesn't have a sign positive or negative, so I'm just going to leave it as 0. What we're going to do now is check that we have the right number by adding up all of our sums. So we're going to add a negative 3 plus 11 plus 5 plus 0. Adding from left to right, just like the order of operations tells us, negative 3 plus 11, negative goes to the left, positive goes to the right, so I'm really thinking about what is 11 minus 3, and that's 8. 11's bigger, so it's positive, so positive 8 plus 5, and then plus 0 is not going to change the value, so I'm not going to write it. And 8 plus 5, those are both positive, this is just adding like normal, is 13, so that's correct. So in class you guys worked on these in your families, maybe you were confused about that, so now I will go through each example here. Okay, so looking at 7 plus negative 3. 7 is positive, it goes to the right, negative 3 goes to the left. So these arrows are going different directions. I'm really thinking about what is 7 minus 3. 7 minus 3 is 4, and the arrow with the bigger number is 7 going right, which means this is a positive normal 4. Below that we've got 1 plus a negative 9. 1 plus a negative 9, so 1 is normal going right, it's positive. 9 is negative, so it goes left. So I'm thinking about the difference then. 9 minus 1, the difference, so subtracting 9 minus 1 is 8. And there is more force going to the left, so our final answer, our sum, should be negative there. Now I've got 2 plus negative 6. 2 goes to the right, 6 goes to the left because of their signs. Since those are going different directions, I want to find the difference. What is the difference between 6 and 2? And that is 4. Now, between the 6 and the 2, the 6 is bigger and its arrow goes to the left, so 4 is going to go to the left, which is negative. Now I've got 12 plus negative 3. 12 goes to the right because it's positive, 3 goes to the left because it's negative. So I'm really thinking about the difference between 12 and 3, and 12 minus 3 is 9. Now I need to think about which arrow would win if I was pushing boxes in those directions. There's more underneath the 12, so that's going to go to the right, which is positive. So positive 9 is my answer there. Now we're ready to add all of these numbers. We've got 4, negative 8, negative 4, and 9. I've got 4 plus negative 8 plus negative 4 plus 9. We could add in order from left to right, just like order of operations tells us to. We do know that we can add in any order though, right? 1 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 1. So I'm just going to rewrite this, and I'm going to rewrite this with 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 8 plus 9. I did that because I see 4 plus negative 4. 4 would go to the right, negative 4 goes to the left. So I've got 4 going one direction and negative 4 going another direction, which means nothing really moved, or that makes 0. So now I have 0 plus negative 8 plus 9. Now I can look at negative 8 plus 9. Negative 8 goes left, positive 9 goes right. Those are going different directions, so I find the difference between 9 and 8, which is 1. And 9 is bigger than 8, so this should go to the right, which is positive. And that's what the sum says there, so we got that correct. Looking at column C, negative 11 on the number line would be placed to the left of 0. Positive 5 on a number line would be placed to the right of 0. So since those arrows are going different directions, we're thinking about the difference between 11 and 5, or 11 minus 5, which is 6. There are more negatives here, so the sum is negative 6. Now we've got negative 5 plus negative 9. Negative 5 goes left of 0. Negative 9 is also left of 0. Those arrows are going the same direction, so I'm really thinking about what is 5 plus 9, which is 14. And because those arrows are both going left, I know that if I had moved the box 5 times left and then moved the box 9 times left, it ended up only going left. So since this is going left, that's a negative 14. Okay. Now I've got 11 plus negative 5. 11 is to the right of 0 on a number line, and 5 is to the left. Negative 5 is to the left of 0 on a number line. Those arrows are facing different directions, so I'm really thinking about a subtraction problem here. What is the difference between 11 and 5? And that is 6. There are more positive than there are negatives, because there's 11 positives and only 5 negatives, which means our answer is a positive 6. And then last we've got a 7 plus 6. This is a normal 7, so it goes to the right of 0. This is a positive 6, so it goes to the right of 0. They're both going the same direction, so I can add just like normal. 7 plus 6 is 13. And since both of those were going to the right, I know the 13 would also go to the right, which means this is a normal positive 13. Now we're ready to add up negative 6, negative 14, positive 6, and positive 13. And again, I'm seeing from our last example, we had a positive 4 and a negative 4, and that came together to make 0. I see that there's a negative 6 and a positive 6, which means those would come together to make 0. So I can really just check the sum of negative 14 and 13. So we'll look at what is negative 14 plus 13. Well, negative 14 is negative, so it's to the left of 0, and 13 is positive, it's to the right of 0. So I'm really thinking about, well, what's the difference between 14 and 13? So what's 14 minus 13? And that's 1. There are more, I'm moving this more to the left than I am to the right, because 14 is bigger than 13. So the sum would be a negative 1, which is what we get. We've got one more column. We've got negative 6 is to the left of 0, plus negative 8 is to the left of 0. Since those arrows are going the same direction, I'm just thinking about what is a normal 6 plus 8, and that's 14. Since both things were going to the left, I know that the final direction would be going to the left, so this is going to be a negative 14. Below that, we've got 3 plus 9. 3 is positive, so it's to the right of 0. 9 is positive, so it's to the right of 0. So 3 plus 9 is just, I'm thinking about a normal 3 plus 9, which is 12. in its final direction, since both of them are going to the right, this final direction is to the right, which is positive. 10 is this is negative 10 plus negative 5. So negative 10 is to the left of 0, negative 5 is to the left of 0. Those arrows are going the same direction, so I'm going to combine them. 10 and 5. 10 plus 5 is 15. And I was combining those because they're both going left, so the final direction is left, which means this is a negative 15. Now I've got negative 3 plus 7. Negative 3 is to the left of 0, 7 is to the right of 0, so I've got arrows going in different directions, so I want to find their difference. So I'm thinking about 7 minus 3, which is 4. And if I've moved my box 3 times to the left and 4 times to the right, the final direction would be going to the right, so this is a positive 4. Now we want to add up all of those. We've got negative 14, 12, negative 15, and 4. I can rewrite negative 14 like negative 4 and negative 10, which means this positive 4 would make the negative 4 go away. And now I'm working with just a negative 10. So I've made the problem a little bit easier for myself. Instead of adding negative 14, 12, negative 15, and 4, now I'm adding, I got rid of those two 4s, so negative 10, 12, and negative 15. Negative 10 plus 12 plus negative 15. I personally like to see, I see that there's a negative 10 and a negative 15. So I'm going to add those first because since their signs are the same, or they're both going the same direction on the number line, I need to combine them. So I get to add 10 plus 15, which is 25. The final direction would be going left because they were both negative, so the 25 should also be negative. Now that took care of the negative 10 and the negative 15, so now I've just got the plus 12 left. So I'm going to write that down. Now we've got negative 25 plus 12. Negative 25 is to the left of 0 and 12 is to the right of 0. So they're going different directions, which means I find the difference. So I'm really thinking about what is 25 minus 12, and that is 13. Now 25 is larger than 12, so I'm going to the left of 0. So the final direction is left, which is negative. So the sum was negative 13. And that's what we should have gotten. So that was a lot of practice about adding integers. The back of this page is about subtracting integers, and I hope I can explain it to you in a way that is really similar to this. So it'll feel like you've only learned one thing, even though you've learned two. Okay, so we're going to actually skip these, and we're going to define instead what's called a term. Terms are parts of a number sentence separated by a plus or minus sign. Okay. When I see a lot of subtraction or even adding sometimes, what I like to do is circle all of my terms and their signs. So a term would be negative 5 in this expression, negative 5 minus 9. Another term would be 9. I would circle the negative 5, and then I'm going to circle the negative 9. And then I'm just going to combine those two things, which is adding, right? I'm just going to add. So now I've got negative 5 plus negative 9, and we already know how to add really well. I'm going to circle again I'll read the next problem, 8 minus negative 3. So we're going to circle the term and its sign, and then if there's a minus or a plus, we're going to circle that as well. So I've got 8, and then I'm going to circle minus negative 3. And you guys know from last year that minusing a negative is really positive. I'll try to explain that why here. Okay, so remember that the left side of the number line is negative and the right side of the number line is positive. So if you're subtracting, it means to go to the left. But negatives mean to flip the direction, so instead of going left, now we're actually going to go right. Well, going right is adding. So when you minus a negative, you're really adding. So I can just change that to say plus 3. So now I've got 8 plus positive 3. And then you could add like normal, 8 and 3. Next we've got negative 2 minus negative 10, so we're circling each term and the sign or signs in front of it. So we've got the negative 2, and then minus negative 10. Minusing a negative really makes it go to the right on a number line, so that'd be a positive. So now we're adding negative 2 plus 10. Okay. Just real quick, so you have these answers. If you'd like to pause the video and try to get those on your own, you can, to help keep it short, because there's, again, a lot of examples down below with subtracting integers. I'm just going to go ahead and give you the answers here. Negative 5 plus negative 9 is negative 14. 8 plus positive 3 is 11. And negative 2 plus 10 is 8. Okay. So now we're looking at column E. We've got the problems 9 minus 6, 4 minus 7, negative 7 minus 12, and negative 9 minus negative 9. The final sum after we add up all of the differences that we get should be negative 19. So let's change this into an adding problem by circling all of the terms and the sign or signs in front of it. So we've got 9 and then a minus 6, which is really negative 6. So this is 9 plus negative 6. Remember, 9 would go right to the right of 0, and negative 6 is to the left of 0. Since those are different directions, I'm really thinking about the subtraction problem. What is 9 minus 6? 9 minus 6 is 3. And 9 is bigger than 6. 9 went to the right, so 3 will end up going to the right, which means this is a positive 3. I'm circling in the next problem. We've got 4 minus 7, so I've circled 4 and minus 7. So this is looking like 4 plus negative 7. 4 is to the right of 0, negative 7 is to the left of 0. So I'm really thinking about the difference between 4 and 7. How much space is between 4 and 7, or what is 7 minus 4? 7 minus 4 is 3. 7 is bigger, and 7 was going to the left, so I know my final answer will go to the left, which is negative. So I've got negative 3. And I've got negative 7 minus 12. So I'm circling negative 7 and then minus 12, or negative 12. Negative 7 is to the left of 0. Negative 12 is to the left of 0. Since those zeros are going the same direction, I'm really combining them or adding them. What is 7 plus 12? That is 19. However, the arrows were both going left, which means 19 is to the left, so this should be a negative 19. Now I've got negative 9 minus negative 9. I'm circling the term negative 9, and then I'm circling the term and the signs in front of it, minus negative 9. Minus a negative makes it positive, because minus means go left, and negative means change the direction, which would be right, which is adding. Negative 9 would be to the left of 0. Positive 9 is to the right of 0. So I'm thinking about what is the difference between these numbers. So negative 9, so 9 minus 9. And 9 minus 9 is 0. 0 doesn't really have a sign, it's neutral. So now I get to add up all of these four numbers. 3, negative 3, 0, and negative 19. Well, 0 is not something I have to add anyways, so I've got 3, negative 3, and negative 19 to add together. Well, 3 and negative 3 are opposites, so we call that a 0 pair because 3 plus negative 3 is 0. And now I've got negative 19 left over, which would be the sum. And that's our sum, so we did that right. Now we've got In column F, we've got 7 minus negative 3, so I'm circling the terms, each term and everything in front of it. So I've got 7, in front of 7 there's nothing, so I think it's positive, which I know it's positive, which means it's to the right of 0. Then I've got minus negative 3. Minusing a negative makes it positive, makes it plus. Plus 3 goes to the right, so I'm really, since these arrows are facing the same direction, they're both going right, I get to add 7 and 3 like normal, which is 10. Since both arrows were facing right, I know that 10's final direction is to the right, which means this is a positive 10. The next problem below that says 1 minus negative 9, so I'm circling the 1, and I'm circling minus negative 9, so I'm circling the term and the signs in front of each term. 1 is positive, so it goes to the right of 0. Minus negative really means positive, or adding, and positive 9 would also go to the right. Since these arrows are going the same direction, I'm just adding 1 and 9 like normal, which is 10. Those arrows are facing the same direction, so I know that they're both facing right, so I know that 10 would be to the right of 0, which is positive. Below that we've got 2 minus 6, so I'll circle 2, and I'll circle minus 6. 2 is positive, so it's to the right of 0. Minus 6 is negative, so it's to the left of 0. Since those arrows are going different directions, I want to find their difference. So I'm thinking about the difference between 6 and 2, or 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. I went 2 times to the right and 6 times to the left, so the left wins. So this 4 is to the left of 0, which means it's a negative 4. I've got 12 minus negative 3, so I circle 12. I circle minus negative 3. 12 is to the right of 0. Minus negative really means positive or plus, so plus 3 goes to the right of 0. Those arrows are going the same direction, they're both going right, so I know my final direction will be going to the right, and I get to add like normal. 12 plus 3 is 15, and going right means positive. Now what we get to do is add all of these numbers, so I've got 10 and 10 and 15 and negative 4. I set it that way because I'm going to combine now all of my things with the same directions first. 10 plus 10 plus 15. And then I'm adding in the new direction, negative 4. I could write plus negative 4. You could also just write minus 4. 10 plus 10 plus 15 is 35 plus negative 4, or minus 4. So if it said 35 minus 4, if I'm using the same process that I've shown you with the following previous 8 examples, it'll look like this, with 35 being circled and negative 4 being circled. 35 goes to the right, negative 4 goes to the left, so then you're finding the difference, or 35 minus 4, which is 31. And that's correct. Okay, now we're looking in column G, so I'm circling negative 11, minus 5. Both of those are to the left of 0 because they're both negative, which means I'm combining them like normal, and 11 plus 5 is 16. The direction is going to go to the left of 0 because both of the arrows were already left, which means this is negative 16. Next we've got negative 5 minus negative 8. So I'm circling each term. Negative 5 is one of the terms, each term and the sign in front of it. So minus negative 8. Negative 5 goes to the left. Minus negative means plus or positive, so that goes to the right. Those arrows are different directions, so we're thinking about what is the difference between 8 and 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. We did 5 to the left and 8 to the right, so the final direction should be going to the right because 8 was more. Right is positive, so that's going to be a positive 3. Now we've got 11 minus negative 5. So I've circled 11 and minus negative 5. 11 is to the right of 0. Minus negative means plus or positive, which is also to the right of 0. So I'm adding 11 and 5 like normal, which is 16. And then this is just 7 minus 6, which we already know is 1. If we wanted to look at that process, we could circle 7 and know that 7 goes to the right of 0 because it's positive. Circle negative 6, which goes to the left because it's negative. Those are different directions, so we're thinking about the difference between 6 and 7, which is 1. And there are more positives here. 7 is bigger than 6, so our final direction should go to the right. Now to check to see if we have the correct answer, we can add all of those numbers and we should get 4. I already see that we've got a 0 pair, negative 16 and positive 16, which means that's 0. And I can add just 3 plus 1, which is 4. And that's what we got. Okay. Last column in H, so negative 6 minus negative 8, circling just each term and then combining all of the things. So I'm circling negative 6, I'm circling minus negative 8. Negative 6 is to the left of 0, minus negative is a plus or a positive, so minus negative 8 is plus 8, which is to the right of 0. Negative 6, these arrows are facing different directions, which means we're going to think about this as a minus problem. What's 8 minus 6? What's the difference? The arrows are different directions, so we're finding the difference. And 8 minus 6 is 2. There are more positives. We went 8 to the right and only 6 to the left, so we're going to end up going right, which means this is a positive 2. Next we've got 3 minus 9. 3 is one term, there's nothing in front of it. 9 and the thing in front of it is a negative. 3 is positive, so it's to the right of 0. Minus 9 is negative, to the left of 0. Those arrows are facing different directions, so we're going to do this as, we're going to find the difference between 9 and 3, which is 6. And then there are far more things going to the left, so our final direction should be left, which means 6 is negative. Then we've got negative 10 minus negative 5. Negative 10 is one term, and then minus negative 5 is another term. Minus a negative means to add it, though. Negative 10 goes to the left of 0. Positive 5 goes to the right of 0. Those are different directions, so we're going to think about this as a difference. We're finding the difference because the arrows were going in different directions. 10 minus 5 is 5. And we went 10 to the left, only 5 to the right, so the final direction should be left, which means the sum is a negative 5. Now I've got 3 minus negative 7, so I circled 3 and I circled minus negative 7. 3 goes to the right of 0, minus negative 7 goes, minus negative is a plus or a positive, so this is also going to the right of 0. Because they're both going the same direction, I can add like normal. 3 and 7 make 10. And because both arrows were going to the right, I know that the 10 should also go to the right, which means that's positive. Now I can look at this as I've got 10 minus 5 minus 6 plus 2. So let's combine the negative things first. So negative 5 and negative 6, they're both going left, so I can add them like normal. 6 and 5 is 11, and since they're both going left, I know that's negative. Then I've got a positive 2 and a positive 10. Positive 2 and a positive 10 make a positive 12. So really I've got negative 11 and also positive 12. Negative 11 goes left, positive 12 goes right. Those are different directions, so I'm finding the difference between 12 and 11, which is 1. And we're going 11 to the left, but 12 to the right, so we went more to the right. The final direction is right, which means this is a positive 1, and that's what we should have gotten. So this lesson was on adding and subtracting integers. Hopefully, there was a lot of practice here, so hopefully the ways I've showed you really just felt like you were only having to add integers. Okay. This is what the homework looks like. The homework has a bunch of different little tic-tac-toe boards. This is kind of just like what we did in our notes, but instead of a column of 4 problems, what you've got is a tic-tac-toe board of 9 problems. So you're going to solve each of the 9 problems in the tic-tac-toe board, and then you want to find the sum of all 9 of those numbers and write that sum here. So this is 4 huge problems with 9 little problems inside of it. Okay, this Your homework tonight is page 4 in your binders, and I forgot to tell you guys, the notes are page 3 in your binders. If you have questions or concerns regarding the lesson or the homework, page 3 or 4, please do not hesitate to reach out to me via Schoology. You can find my email on the district website or catch me before or after school or class.